August 14, 2017 by William Graham. Spacex will make the first flight from the U.S. Eastern Range following Julie's scheduled maintenance stand-down on Monday, with its Falcon 9 resuming operations to deliver a Dragon spacecraft to the International Space Station. The crs-12 Dragon mission is set for a single-shot launch from crs-39A, with a launch at 12:31 local. A scrub will result in the mission waiting 5 days for the next attempt. SpaceX launch Monday's launch, the 11th Falcon 9 mission of the year, ends a month-long break in launches from Florida's Space Coast. This gap between launches was due in part to planned maintenance that closed the Eastern Range following Julie's Falcon 9 mission, which carried Intelsat 35E into orbit. The gap was further extended by delays to the launch of NASA's TDRS-M satellite, which had been scheduled to ride an Atlas V into orbit at the beginning of August. Downtime periods, termed recapitalization by the U.S. Air Force, are scheduled to allow work to be performed that would be difficult to perform or take longer to complete while the range is operational. They are not uncommon and are typically scheduled around planned launches. SpaceX's high launch rate in the months leading up to Julie's stand-down, however, has made the period more apparent. SpaceX has taken advantage of the range downtime to continue with the demolition of the rotating service structure RSS at Launch Complex 39A, a launchpad structure designed to support the Space Shuttle and provide access to its payload bay, which is not required for Falcon missions. The Kennedy Space Center's Launch Complex 39A LC-39A, which will be used for Monday's launch, was also used by Saturn V rockets during the Apollo era and was the launch site for 8 of the 9 manned missions to the Moon, including all of the landings. Monday's launch is the first of 3 planned for August from the Eastern Range. United Launch Alliance's Atlas V launch with NASA's TDRS-M communications satellite has been rescheduled for Friday, following repairs to damage the spacecraft sustained during final processing. At the end of the month, Orbital ATK will launch Cape Canaveral's first Minotaur rocket, a Minotaur Ivorian 38 carrying the Sensasat satellite for the operationally responsive Space Office. Falcon's payload is a Dragon spacecraft carrying supplies and equipment for the International Space Station ISS. The crs-12 mission is Dragon's 14th flight and is aiming to become the 12th to deliver cargo to the space station. Dragon was developed by SpaceX under NASA's Commercial Orbital Resupply Services COTS project, making its maiden flight, Dragon C1, in December 2010. A second demonstration mission, Dragon C2, was conducted in May 2012 and saw Dragon become the first commercial spacecraft to deliver cargo to the ISS. With the 2 test flights complete, Dragon was free to begin conducting regular resupply missions under a Commercial Resupply Services (CRS) contract awarded in 2008 for an initial 12 flights. crs-12 is the last of this original award of missions. However, the contract was amended in 2015 to add further flights, and SpaceX has also been awarded a new contract under the next phase of the CRS program. As well as Dragon, NASA also uses Orbital ATK's Cygnus spacecraft for CRS missions, while Sierra Nevada Corporation's Dream Chaser cargo system DCCS has been awarded flights under the second phase of CRS, and is expected to fly in 2020. The CRS vehicles form part of a fleet of unmanned ISS support craft that also includes Russia's Progress spacecraft, Japan's HII Transfer Vehicle HTV, also known as Kunotori, and the now-retired European Automated Transfer Vehicle ATV. Dragon is the only spacecraft currently flying to the space station, except for the manned Soyuz, which is designed to be recovered at the end of its mission, instead of burning up in the atmosphere on re-entry. This allows it to bring cargo and equipment back to Earth from the station, as well as delivering supplies to the outpost. Dragon consists of a pressurized capsule and an unpressurized trunk section, which houses the spacecraft's solar arrays and a space for external cargo to be carried. The trunk is jettisoned when Dragon returns to Earth, and unlike the capsule, it is not designed to be recovered. All of Dragon's missions to date have been completed successfully, except for crs-7, which was lost in a launch failure. The Dragon spacecraft is designed to be refurbished and reflown, a capability which was first demonstrated with June's launch of crs-11, which used the Dragon C-106 capsule that previously flew crs-4. The crs-12 mission uses a new-build Dragon C-113. In a recent presentation, NASA ISS Director Sam Simemi indicated that crs-12 would be the last CRS flight to use a new Dragon, with subsequent missions all reusing previously flown capsules. Following Monday's launch, Dragon will take 2 days to reach the ISS. Upon arrival, the station's Canadarm2 arm, under the control of astronaut Jack Fisher, will be used to grapple Dragon and berth it at the Nadir, or Earth-facing, port of the station's Harmony module. Dragon will remain at the outpost for 4 weeks, before being unberthed and released. 5.5 hours after its departure from the ISS, Dragon will land under parachutes in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California. crs-12 will deliver 2,910 kilograms 6,415 pounds of cargo to the station. This includes 1,652 kilograms 3,642 pounds of pressurized cargo and the 1,258 kilogram 2,773 pounds ISS Cosmic Ray Energetics and Mass ISS CREAM instrument, which is being carried in Dragon's trunk. ISS CREAM, which will be mounted to the Kibo module's exposed facility JEMEF for a 3-year investigation, is intended to monitor extremely high-energy cosmic rays measuring the charge and energy. ISS CREAM is an evolution of a payload flown aboard 6 long-duration balloon missions over the Antarctic between 2004 and 2010. ISS CREAM will be able to conduct a longer investigation than is possible using a balloon, while putting the instrument above most of the atmosphere reduces the proportion of rays that are blocked before reaching its sensors. CREAM uses a transition radiation detector and a tungsten scintillator sampling calorimeter to measure the energy of cosmic rays, while a suite of instruments, consisting of a Cherenkov detector, a scintillating fiber horoscope, a silicon charge detector and a timing charge scintillation detector, will be used to determine their charge. Each instrument provides an independent reading, to ensure the reliability of the data recorded. CREAM will help scientists to answer key questions about the origin of high-energy cosmic rays. This includes characterizing whether all of these rays can be explained by a single source mechanism and validating the theory that supernovae are responsible for the majority of high-energy cosmic rays. The experiment also aims to help explain the knee in the spectrum of cosmic ray energies, where the number of particles detected at higher energies drops away faster than models predict above 1 peta-electron-volt PeV. Scientific equipment accounts for 916 kilograms 2,019 pounds of Dragon's pressurized cargo. Experiments include CASIS-PCG7, which will grow an enzyme, leucine-Rick repeat kinase 2-LPRK, in microgravity. The crystals of this enzyme, which can be grown to a larger size and a more perfect shape in space, can be studied to increase understanding of this enzyme, which is linked with Parkinson's disease. Another experiment will grow lung tissue to determine how microgravity affects its development and determine whether this technique can be used to produce tissue samples for future biological, medical and pharmaceutical research. New seed pillows for the space station's veggie plant growth system and 20 mice for the Rodent Research 9 experiment will also be delivered. Another investigation, being conducted as a partnership between NASA and Hewlett-Packard HP, is the Spaceborne computer. This will place an off-the-shelf 1 teraflop supercomputer aboard the space station for a year to study whether software can be used to compensate for the space environment rather than using specialized hardware. Dragon's cargo also includes 220 kilograms 485 pounds of provisions for the crew, 339 kilograms 747 pounds of station hardware, 53 kilograms 117 pounds of computer equipment and 30 kilograms 66 pounds of hardware to support spacewalks. Dragon is also carrying several small satellites to be deployed from the space station. Kestrel I-2M, also known as Nanoraxki IIM, is a 50-kilogram 110-pounds nanosatellite equipped with a commercial off-the-shelf imaging system. The spacecraft was developed by Maryland Aerospace and is sponsored by NASA and the U.S. Department of Defense. It forms part of the U.S. Army's Kestrel I program, to investigate the use of a fleet of small, medium-resolution spacecraft to provide real-time tactical intelligence to soldiers in the field. This prototype will also be used to investigate possible civilian uses for the satellites, including natural disaster monitoring and meteorology. It will be deployed later this year to begin a 6-month mission. 3 CubeSats are being carried for Alana 22, part of NASA's Educational Launch of Nanosatellites program. The Arc-2 Space Telescope enabling research in astrophysics, ASTERIA, has been developed by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology MIT in conjunction with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. A 6-carat CubeSat ASTERIA carries an imaging payload mounted on a 2-axis piezoelectrically actuated platform. The spacecraft itself is 3-axis stabilized using reaction wheels, while the piezoelectrics will provide fine control to point the instrument with precision of within an arcsecond. The satellite will be used for astrophotometry, and as a demonstrator for future missions. Dellinger, another 6-carat CubeSat, carries a compact ion-neutral mass spectrometer (INMS) and a pair of magnetometers. The spacecraft, originally named the Radiation Belt Loss Experiment (RBLE), will demonstrate a new CubeSat bus and provide data on the densities of ions and neutral atoms in Earth's ionosphere. It is intended to complement research being conducted by NASA's Van Allen probes. The orbital satellite for investigating the response of the ionosphere to stimulation and space weather OSIRIS-3U, a 3-unit CubeSat, will be operated by the Pennsylvania State University. It is equipped with a Langmuir probe and receivers to study the occultation of signals from GPS satellites as they pass through the ionosphere. The mission aims to investigate what happens when radio signals pass through the Phrygian, or Appleton-Barnett layer of Earth's ionosphere. It will also study the interaction of space weather with the ionosphere. The Overview 1A satellite, owned by San Francisco-based SpaceX, is being carried as a commercial payload. A 3-unit CubeSat, it carries a 360-degree camera, will be used to offer a live virtual reality experience of space to subscribers. Dragon will ride to orbit aboard SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, which is making its 39th flight. A 2-stage liquid-fueled rocket, Falcon 9 consumes RP-1 propellant, oxidized by liquid oxygen. It first flew in June 2010, carrying a mock-up Dragon spacecraft. Falcon 9 has since launched all of Dragon's missions, as well as an increasing portfolio of commercial and U.S. government missions. Monday's launch debuts a new revision to the Falcon 9, which is known unofficially as the Block 4. This upgrade increases the thrust provided by the rocket's Merlin 1D engines and includes other upgrades ahead of a further revision, Block 5, which is expected to be introduced with Crew Dragon's Demo 1 mission next year. The Falcon 9 has already evolved since its introduction. The original version was used for the first 5 launches before the first major upgrade, the Falcon 9 V1.1, first flew in September 2013. See also crs-12 update is SpaceX missions section 2 SpaceX section. Click here to join L2 to this stretch. The rocket rearranged the first stage engines into their current octagonal or octaweb configuration instead of the square grid that had been used previously. A further revision, the Falcon 9 V1.2, a Falcon 9 full thrust, was introduced in December 2015 with uprated engines, a further stretched second stage and colder, denser oxidizer. Incremental upgrades, such as a faster fueling process and more resilient titanium grid fins, have been made between flights. Falcon 9's only launch failure, which involved the penultimate Falcon 9 V1.1, came in June 2015 as the rocket was carrying crs-7, the 9th Dragon mission, bound for the International Space Station. The vehicle disintegrated late in first-stage flight after a second-stage helium tank broke loose and the second stage overpressurized. A second Falcon 9 was lost last September, along with Israel's Amos Chapter 6 satellite, when the rocket exploded during fueling for a pre-launch static fire test. While not a launch failure in that no launch was being attempted, the explosion saw Falcon grounded until January and caused extensive damage to Cape Canaveral Space Launch Complex 40. Complex 40 is still undergoing repairs and is expected to return to service in the next few months, possibly as soon as the SES-11 launch planned for early October. The first stage of the Falcon 9 for Monday's launch is Core 1039. It is powered by 9 Merlin 1D engines, which will ignite 3 seconds before Monday's countdown reaches 0. Falcon will lift off at T0, beginning an ascent that will take her northeast over the Atlantic Ocean. 68 seconds after liftoff, the rocket will pass through MAXQ, the area of maximum dynamic pressure. Core 1039 will burn for 2 minutes and 25 seconds before main engine cut-off MECO. Stage separation will take place 3 seconds later, after which the first stage will begin its descent back to Earth and the second stage will continue towards orbit. Second stage ignition will occur 8 seconds after staging. The second stage's single Merlin 1D vacuum engine will make one burn, lasting 6 minutes and 38 seconds. Dragon will separate from the second stage 10 minutes and 14 seconds after liftoff, deploying its solar arrays 46 seconds later. Falcon 9 is designed to be reusable. Depending on the mass of Falcon's payload and its target orbit, the first stage can fly back to the launch site, land on a floating platform, the autonomous spaceport drone ship ASDS downrange, or can be flown expendably without recovery hardware to maximize primary mission performance. Monday's launch will attempt a landing at Cape Canaveral's Landing Zone 1, the former Launch Complex 13. It will be the 6th landing attempt on land and the 19th overall. Following staging, Core 1039 will reorient itself using cold gas thrusters and perform a boost back burn to put itself on a course back towards Cape Canaveral, beginning 13 seconds after separating. 4 grid fins will deploy to help guide the rocket's descent back through the atmosphere. A second burn will be made at around 6 minutes and 9 seconds elapsed time to slow the core as it re-enters the atmosphere, with a final single-engine burn igniting shortly before touchdown. Landing legs will deploy from the base of the rocket and Code 1039 will make a controlled landing at around 7 minutes 43 seconds mission elapsed time. Following Monday's launch, SpaceX will next be in action on the 24th of August, with a Falcon 9 launch from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, carrying the Republic of China's Formosat 5 mission. Falcon's next East Coast launch is expected around the 7th of September with the U.S. Air Force's X-37B spaceplane aboard, while the next Dragon launch is now slated to occur in early December. Images Spacex, NASA, Chris Gebhardt, Craig van der Galen and L2 artist Nathan Koga. The full gallery of Nathan's Falcon Heavy to Dragon to Starliner, MCT, SLS, commercial crew and more L2 images can be found here.